And so this brings me to the last lesson of the waltz tutorials. This is lesson 5, and we are looking at how to develop the A section at the end. Okay, so I have done this probably a bit too quickly, and just to illustrate the sort of things that you can do. After we got to this pivot chord here, if I play from here, we're back into our main A section. Now I simply copied and pasted it to start with. You don't have to do that. You can be much more imaginative if you would like, but for the purposes of this, I've just copied and pasted it. Now I'm going to play it to you, and then I want you to pause the video, go back if you need to, and work out how I've changed it, how it is different from the first section, bearing in mind that I just copied and pasted it initially. Okay, so pause the video, go back if you need to, write down a few notes. So the melody remains pretty much unchanged from the first time. In fact, it's exactly the same. So I've not mucked around with those parts. We'll talk about what you could do with the melody to make it more developed later. So in the middle parts, I have put in a much more active part. It was simply an cha-cha before. What I've done is I've put the cha-cha onto the cello part. So if we just have a look at that, and I've got it double stopping. So essentially, I have got all of my inner parts just on the cello part, which frees these guys up to do something else. I've got a little feature here, and that just changes as the chord below changes. On the second violin part, I've got a little arpeggiated feature which fits in with the kind of things that happened in the B section. And I've got the 7th in there to add a bit of colour. So together, this is what they sound like. And it almost needs a bigger dynamic in there. I want to do something different with the violin part, but I will kind of run out of time. Have a listen. If this was a string orchestra and I had more parts and I wasn't just writing for one violin one, but I was having a section of violin ones, I'll probably split this somehow so that I could have another part to the texture and have some harmony there, because actually this melody lends itself very well to being in thirds or sixths, so you could have that in a part underneath, which is what I've done here if you listen to this bit. And again, that just breaks it up, provides a little bit of difference. Okay, that continues in the same way pretty much all the way to the end. And at the end, I again have dropped the second violin part in thirds. It's actually sixths, sorry. And then I've just put a pause, a fermata over that last bar, and I've got a big spread chord. Okay, so I haven't done much with my third section to make it different. I've made little changes. It is possible to be far more imaginative, but that just shows you the little changes that you can make And we haven't even talked about dynamics really. I haven't got dynamics in any of it. Again, that is a way of changing that third section. If you had the first section more reserved, quieter, and then a big impact on that last section and a big crescendo at the end. I did think about whether I wanted a rall at the end, and I decided no. I just wanted it straight through. So I'm now going to play you that whole of that last section. Okay, so that was the last waltz tutorial. Hopefully you can take things away from this. Having started this project at Easter and finished it off last night, I don't like this piece anymore. I like the middle section, but I think you can hear that the first section and the third section, to a certain extent, feel very formulaic to me. I found it very difficult writing the melody. I'm being completely honest with you here. Try something different if you want. Try the different harmonic rhythm. I found it very difficult to write with the slow harmonic rhythm in the first section, and I felt like I had more of a musical identity with the second section, possibly because I started from a different point. People are different. You can start with the chords, you can start with the melody, and all the way along you need to listen to your work and think, does that work? Does it sound interesting? Am I being musical? And the framework is a starting point, but it must be just that starting point. If you decide, like I did with the chords in the first section, that actually it isn't what I want, it doesn't make sense with the melody, you change the chords, see if you can improve on it. So while I'm putting a framework and a template in place, please make sure you're always using your ears and always listening to what sounds good. You know what sounds good. Okay.